Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. I can't stop this feeling.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back into the morning drill for this, our last segment of the Wednesday morning edition. We have with us this morning Father Shane Matthew, who is the headmaster at Venango Catholic High School. And Venango Catholic has been very much in the news lately over the last few months. And just recently some happy news there where it looked like the school might not be around for a session in the fall.
That's right.
Now it is.
That's right.
So we need to talk about that a little bit.
Yes, we do.
Talk about maybe what your role is and what you need other people to do at this point.
Sure thing. Yes, it's first, thank you for being here. It's an honor to be in the media out here reaching out to the audience and to say a little bit about the school. I'm very excited to do that. It has been a challenging few months for us with announcements and then changes and announcements and changes and then finally an announcement that, yes, we will be open. And so things are hopping at VC right now. Wrapping up the end of the school year, getting our seniors graduated and on the way, getting the rest of our students out for the summer, but a lot of the behind-the-scenes work still going on. The bishop specifically called for the formation of what we're calling an interim board, a group of committed partners who are going to take ownership and responsibility and accountability for the big picture of a school. What's the mission? What are the main goals? How do we get all the people who have been interested to see VC continue and thrive plugged in, involved, and committed? Along with hiring professionals for advancement work to help ensure the mission and enrollment, because a school without kids is not a school.
Well, you mentioned enrollment, and that's going to be one of the challenges. Enrollment and marketing and I think development are
Correct.
Two or three of the things that are going to be very important coming up. Let's talk about each of those in turn. What about enrollment at this point?
Enrollment is ongoing. With all the turmoil of the last few months, right now we're getting the message out that first, we're open. We're going to be open. And second, everyone in the area who's interested, anyone in the area who's willing, has a role to play. And that certainly means students and parents and grandparents who are making educational decisions for their children. So right now, several people in the VC community are reaching out to 8th grade parents and students. We have an open house coming this Sunday from 2 to 5 at the school, where people who maybe have been just watching the news without being involved in the news have the opportunity to come and see exactly what it is, what we do, why we do it, and cultivate that interest into a real commitment for enrollment.
Now, that could be a challenge in itself because the campus is very nice where it's located, but it's not easily seen from the road. So
True.
The only clue that folks have is there's a sign at the end of the driveway. How do you attract people beyond the sign?
The most important thing for us is word of mouth. I'm happy to say that media has been great. We've been, for better or worse, on the front page quite a bit in the area.
I saw you at the post office, too.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's funny. I saw that, too, and I thought to myself, well, I've arrived. I am a celebrity. But for us, the most important thing is taking advantage of the opportunity we have where not just people who have been involved in VC, but the entire area. All around Venango, into Clarion and Crawford counties, Forest County, to take that interest, because everybody's interested now, and turn that into something real and concrete for our kids. Word of mouth is fantastic, and how word of mouth then spreads, where people start talking, and then people start talking, and then a lot more people start talking.
Well, you saw the enthusiasm, too, when the announcement... Let's play the announcement, and you'll hear the applause. This is fantastic, and this was just from a couple weeks ago.
I have agreed to allow Venango Catholic High School to remain in operation next year. very impressed with the deep desire that has been expressed for a Catholic high school in Venango County. Maintaining that passion is going to be essential moving forward.
You're right, and you can catch the enthusiasm. When I was there to cover that, it was hard not to go home and, feel badly for things, because it was a very momentous occasion. It was very good, and a lot of folks left very inspired.
I agree. It was really the energy in the room was palpable. It was positive. I think it's invigorating because it's a win. And I think we all like to win, but we live in a community, and many communities, where wins can be tough to come by. So we see this, we grab it. It's really exciting news. Fantastic opportunity for us moving forward.
Now, we talked about enrollment for a moment, and we saw that that's going to be a challenge, but there was a lot of enthusiasm, and there remains a great deal of enthusiasm, but that's going to be translated into a marketing effort, too. Can you talk about that?
Sure. For a school, it's important to establish a brand as a promise that communicates a mission and communicates real value to everyone who participates: students, parents, teachers, committed partners who provide the dollars we need to make things work. No matter what business you're in, no matter what ministry you're in, things cost money. And so we rely on people to commit their resources because they believe in what we're doing. Marketing is making sure that the message reaches the people we need to reach, that the mission reaches the people it needs to reach, so that we can accomplish that mission in a grace-filled and responsible way.
And that's important, because this is, after all, a Catholic high school. You want to remember those kinds of things, and I imagine that's something to tap into as well as you talk with people who have been associated somehow with the school, whether as a student or a parent or an alumni, a supporter of some kind. I know that it hits home a little bit personally for me. My youngest son is a 2008 graduate and remembers VC quite fondly, and was somewhat taken aback when he found out that the school might not be around. He's out in North Dakota these days. There's not much chance of coming back at the moment, but it does still provide that kind of interest, and even if it's not monetary support, you have people sort of praying their way through this too.
Absolutely.
That's always a good thing to see. So we've talked about enrollment and marketing and what have you. Development is also on the horizon as well.
Development, what we call advancement, sometimes used in the same way, is really about building relationships and using the relationships we build to bring people into real commitment to the school, in terms of prayer, in terms of dollars, in terms of professional expertise, in terms of all the gifts and talents that people who are interested and who believe in our mission have to bring to make that mission real. Everyone has different means, everyone has different talents, everyone has different commitments of time. But if we're committed to a mission, then we can use whatever it is, wherever we are, North Dakota being a great example, to reach into the community by whatever way, and provide the gifts and talents we need to be successful.
And really, those are the things to remember. The development or advancement process to this point, I believe, has been fairly successful. There's been a monetary amount mentioned that needs to be committed to keep the school open over the next, 5 years, I believe?
We've been working on 5-year proposals. The bishop wants us to work on a year-to-year basis, and I think that's responsible. I think it shows the level of commitment in our community and the level of responsibility we now have to put our faith where the bishop's faith is, to put our resources where the bishop is putting his resources. And so we have 5-year targets, but we also have and will be setting year-to-year targets that we'll use to steer our course into the future.
It is 8:51. This is the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. We are speaking with Father Shane Matthew, headmaster at Venango Catholic High School. And we've been talking about the school's efforts to not only remain open but to do much more than just get by. This is much more than just getting by. You talked about having an open house on Sunday to further the recruitment or enrollment process, but there are other steps to be taken as well, and we should probably talk about them.
Yeah, we're looking at everything. Because we don't just want to get by, we want to thrive. And so we have to ask the question at all levels of the school and in all areas of control and responsibility in the school. How are we going to get by? How are we getting by now? How are we going to thrive in the future? It means asking questions about everything: curriculum, staffing, facilities, enrollment, marketing, advancement, board involvement, relationship with our local communities, relationship with the diocesan administration and the larger diocesan community, and then looking at where we need to be in all of those areas, and I'm sure several others I haven't thought of yet. Thanks be to God, I have a great group of people I'm working with to help me see things I'm not seeing. It's wonderful to have committed partners in the process moving forward. And then to bring all the different pieces together and establish a clear sense of priority that everyone in our community can share, that everyone at VC agrees. These are the steps we need to be successful. These are the things that need to happen in order for us to reach the target of a truly vital future.
One of the things that I've heard in the last several months as all of this has been taking place, the movement to save VC got off the ground very quickly.
Yes, it did.
A lot of that was through word of mouth. A lot of it was through social media. And you folks quickly came up with a workable model that was tweaked a little bit. There was a lot of back and forth. Is this a model that other parochial schools could follow?
I would hope that we don't have to reach a decision of closure in order to get there. But in terms of the process, in terms of establishing a clear board structure, in terms of committing in an intentional, grace-filled, and professional way to advancement and enrollment, to be mindful of the importance of facilities, to be mindful of the importance of a strong curriculum, yes, that model is applicable to any school, and that's important because while we are reinvigorating Venango Catholic High School and while we are reaching out and establishing and reestablishing relationships, we're doing so using the better practices that have come out of the experience of Catholic education over the last 20, 30, 40 years. These things have been tried, true, tested, and have been shown to work. And so any school that's struggling can reach into that expertise, to reach into the shared experience of our great Catholic school system in America, and begin really making the changes we need to make to fulfill the mission we have.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it kind of brings to mind the analogy of, there's a traffic light gets put up at an intersection after there's an accident, that it takes something horrific to make a positive response. And I know that was the concern of some of the folks that I spoke to, is that for a number of years, the diocese and the school had a satisfactory relationship, but the school was just getting by. And now there's something more there. This is much more substantial, as you say, a grace-filled and a prayer-filled, committed kind of a decision-making going forward. Do you have any words of advice for folks who may be in a similar situation with their schools? Is this sort of a wake-up call that everyone can pay attention to?
Yeah, I think absolutely. The analogy of the traffic light you just used, I think, is spot on. What I would say is that other schools have their own intersections to watch. And learning what we've learned and consulting not only our own experience at Venango Catholic, but the many better practices that have emerged out of other school communities, both locally and beyond, that we can plan and, in some sense, predict where the hotspot intersections are going to be, where we're going to have problems, and take action now before we reach the moment of crisis to move in a direction that's ultimately better for all of us.
We have just a few minutes before we close up, so let's recap a little bit about some of the things that we've been talking about, especially the open house that's coming up. Let's talk about that again.
Sure thing. The open house at Venango Catholic High School, 1505 West 1st Street in Oil City, Sunday afternoon from 2 until 5. It's not a formal program, so as your afternoon plans shape up, feel free to stop by any time in that window of opportunity. We're certainly looking for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders in our broad area. We have students who come in from all over 3-4 counties. So we're not just Oil City. Mm-hmm. Oil City is our home, but we like to think that we have a broad reach. People who are interested in hearing about what's been going on, people who would like to come and see the building, because it's a beautiful campus tucked away on the top of a high hill with a lot of trees in front of it. So you drive right by and wouldn't even know it. So we would like to open the doors, focused on 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students and families, but really wide open for anybody who is interested and would like to turn that interest into a real faithful commitment to the future of the school.
What's a good way for folks to stay in touch with you?
Absolutely. The office is open all day, every day, so feel free to stop by the school. The phone number is 814-677-3098, and our website is venangocatholic.org. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook.
So, like everyone else, you're socially connected. It's a great way to stay in touch then.
Absolutely.
And I guess a big shout out to all of those who have been involved with helping to keep the school open. I imagine, well, I know, we watched the clip. It was greeted with a great deal of, great deal of joy. Mm-hmm. So, Father Shane Matthew, headmaster at Venango Catholic High School, thank you for being with us today. Do not be a stranger. Please come back, or please send emissaries, if you will, and keep us informed. And certainly, we have a platform here for you to get the word out. We'd be happy to have a hand in doing that at any time.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And we have 1 minute, I'm being told. So.
All right.
Just enough time to remind everybody about this open house coming up again. Again, it's 2 to 5.
Sunday afternoon, 2 to 5 at the school.
Okay, sounds very good. That leaves us just enough time to say thanks for being with us this week, and especially this morning on the morning drill. We'll be back tomorrow morning, beginning bright and early at 6 o'clock with Daybreak News at 6, continuing at 7 with the morning drill. For Luke Rio, I'm Mark Heim. Our guest, Father Shane Matthew, and our temporary producer, Carol Johnson, behind the board at the moment. Hope everybody has a great morning. We'll see you tomorrow.